I think we got to talk. I need to get your take on the Nord Stream revelation from Mr. Seymour Hersh, of course, the renowned journalist, award-winning, heavily decorated, someone who rarely gets things wrong. But of course, we're talking about a revelation from a source. Of course, we don't know who the source comes from, but we know Seymour Hersh is very well connected. And if anyone read the piece on his Substack, you know that it's a very convincing piece, especially given all that we knew about the Nord Stream pipelines, the destruction of them, all of the basically outright hints, if not admissions, that Biden and Blinken and essentially the entire U.S. foreign policy establishment, Victoria Nuland, we're all giving about Nord Stream 2 and the destruction of the pipelines. What was your reaction to this? Because it's a very significant, I think, development. And when I think about Germany here, I just think about, wow, Germany has really bent the knee to the United States. It is throughout this whole conflict, I've thought incredible. Like Germany is actually getting hit some of the hardest economically, politically from this. The costs are huge for Germany, and yet it still walks in lockstep behind on a leash in the heel position with the United States. What was your thoughts about the Nord Stream revelations?
Let me start by just a little truth in advertising here. Cy Hersh is a quarter of a century. He's been a friend of mine. So I have to say right off the bat that I'm strongly biased in favor of Cy Hersh. I've personally been investigated by him. I know the rigor that he takes, and for 25 years I've been literally at the front row as he comes up with some of his most amazing scoops, Abu Ghraib, etc. I knew nothing about this article before it was written. Knew nothing. I had a hint that he might be thinking about going to Substack, but so I don't have any insights. I can't sit here and tell you I know Cy's source. I don't know Cy's source. What I can say though is that he got a Pulitzer Prize for a reason, and he got a lot of I think they're Peabody Awards or Polk Awards or something like that. Got a lot of those for a reason. And if Cy writes it, you have to treat it seriously. Look, everybody gets it wrong. I think he got burned on a source with JFK book, and he got burned on a source. If you're a reporter doing the business, you're going to get burned on a source, no matter what you do. Could he have been burned on this source? Maybe, but I doubt it. But here's the thing. Everybody's focused on the sexy stuff. The bombs. Tick, 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 tick. The sonar booty. Beep, 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 beep. Boom, boom, boom. Wow. I mean, this is a Tom Clancy movie, man. You could actually make a movie out of this. This is pretty cool stuff. Divers training.
We may see it. We may see a movie eventually.
We see the movie, maybe Cuba Gooding can come back and play the role of the diver, Danny De Niro, Robert De Niro, 1 step forward, 2 step, I mean, it would be great. It would be just like, oh my God, I want to see this movie. But there's more to this story than that's there. First of all, understand that if Cy's source is true, Biden is a criminal. Now, I'm not just talking about a war criminal. Hell, every American president's been a war criminal. So that's, get in line, Joe. He's a criminal because he violated the Constitution of the United States with intent. Mens rea is a term that I've learned in the legal frame, the intent. He plotted with Victoria Nuland, with Jake Sullivan, with Tony Blinken, with the CIA director. They plotted to specifically craft a mechanism to avoid reporting to Congress, to carry out an act of war. So understand this. Cy Hersh's article should be used as the basis of an indictment against the President of the United States for impeachment for violating the Constitution of the United States of America. And several other people that I just named should likewise be indicted, arrested, found guilty at trial, because they would be found guilty at trial, and then in prison for a very long time. Now, this will never happen because we never do this in America, which shows you how shallow we are as a nation. But if it didn't jump out, let me say something else. I don't mean to insult people, but please reflect with me for a second. Join me in this moment of self-reflection. If you read that article and the first thing that didn't jump out is that we need to impeach Joe Biden for violating the Constitution, then you don't know the Constitution. And if you're calling yourself an American citizen and you don't know the Constitution, you're not a very good citizen, because that which defines us as a collective is the Constitution. That's the only thing that defines us. That's what unites us. That's what gets a redneck from Texas hanging out with a liberal from New York City. That's what makes us Americans, the Constitution. You take the Constitution away and we're nothing, baby. We are nothing. Nothing. There is no glue. The glue is the Constitution. And if you don't know the Constitution, you're not a very good American. So if you read it and you didn't go impeach right now, you got a problem. But then there's something else that you got that jumps out at you. We attacked our friend Germany. It's an act of war. We carried out an economic Pearl Harbor against a nation that we claim to be friends and allies with. And we colluded with another NATO ally to do this. And even though Norway was the trigger puller with us, it's like any crime. If you're driving the getaway car and the murder takes place in the bank, you're a murderer. And there's a lot of murderers out there. Germany, wake up. Nobody likes you. Everybody's conspiring against you. And America attacked you. And you're doing nothing about it. Now, there's a term, and I won't use it out of respect for you, but it begins with a C. And it ends with old. And you can fill in the gaps. And that's what Germany has become, because they're allowing this to happen and they're not doing anything about it. Olaf Scholz knows darn well who attacked Nord Stream. Everybody in Germany knows darn well. And yet they're like the abused spouse, just going, no, I fell down. The bruise, no, he didn't hit me. He didn't hit me. No, Germany is the abused spouse and America is the abuser, and everybody's pretending that nothing happened. We're just turning a blind eye. Guys, we attacked the nation we claim to be friends. Now, I know, I just told you that we're not friends with anybody, and just take a look at the Ukraine, the proof. But Germany, we attacked them. It's an act of war. And now comes the really interesting part. April 1st was we could have ended the war. This war could have ended on April 1st. Ukraine was ready to sign a peace agreement with Russia. It could have come to an end. All the angst and anxiety that we have today would be gone. We'd actually hopefully be not only repairing relations with Russia, but we could actually be engaged in serious arms control discussions with Russia about START and getting another START treaty in play. The current one expires in 2026. There is no automatic extension anymore. We already did that one, which means when it expires, it's gone. And when you lose this one, that means both arsenals are going to be expanding up at a time when there's high tension. And that is a recipe for disaster. One mistake, one miscalculation, one misunderstanding, bam, and the world ends. And when I say end, guys, I mean goodbye. Lights out. You're never going to wake up because it's all over. We seem to be oblivious to that. Oh, nuclear war. Well, no, it ain't theoretical, dudes. It's real. The weapons are out there. They're ready to be used right now. Right now, they're ready to be used. The only thing holding them back is arms control, and that arms control is about to go away. So wouldn't it be nice to be engaged with them? And we could have been, had there been a peace treaty on April 1st. But now we come back to old Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe stood there on February 7th of last year, and he said, if the Russians invade Ukraine, tanks across the border, Nord Stream 2 will be no more. And a reporter actually said, what do you mean? That's Germany. It'll be no more. It sounds like a confession to me after the fact. I mean, he basically confessed it. Victoria Nuland said the same thing. But Russian tanks went across on February 24th. On April 1st, Nord Stream 2 was still in play. And had there been a peace treaty, Nord Stream 2 would have stayed in play. Nord Stream 1 would have continued to pump billions of cubic meters of gas into Germany. And then Germany's economy would still be dependent upon Russia, Russian gas and European economy, et cetera, which means that everybody's paying low prices, their industries are working, et cetera. We sabotaged that peace treaty. Why? Because we wanted to blow up Nord Stream. And if you read Cy's article, you'll see that after April 1st, we started moving things in motion. That's when we got serious, because we realized that this conflict could come to an end. We have to blow up these things. And therefore, we held the exercise, Baltops 22 in June. And bam, September, we blow it up. That's what this is all about. And I hope everybody understands what I'm saying here, that this war was never about, I mean, it may be about Ukraine, but it's turned into something different. It's about America creating the conditions for American hegemony, economic-based hegemony, that isn't just about strangling Russia through sanctions and bleeding them dry and white in the war. It's about bringing down the European Union, bringing down the Eurozone, bringing down Germany. We blew up the Nord Stream pipeline in order to send a signal to Germany, France, and all of Europe that we're in charge. We're taking over. And what have we done? We've replaced cheap Russian gas with expensive American liquid natural gas. We've destroyed their economies. And yet Europe just sits there and goes, more, boss, more, give me more. I mean, this is disturbing. So this is why Seymour Hersh's article is genius, because he has basically put the pieces in place that allow all of these things to become crystal clear. Just, in the intelligence business, I had a good reputation for doing a couple things. One is identifying dots, because in the intelligence business, it's like getting one of those 1,000 piece puzzles, and they shake it up and they throw it on the table, and then they take their arm and they take 80% of them off the table, and you got 20% left, and they said, "Tell me what it is." And you're going, "Well, I only got 20% of the pieces," but you got to put it together, connect the dots, and then you come up with an idea of what it is. That's what intelligence is. And sometimes you get good and you can uncover a couple more pieces and bring it in, but you never have 100% of the pieces. I was good at identifying the dots and connecting the dots. What Hersh's article did is identify the dots, and now it's up to us to connect them. And it's quite obvious. I mean, he literally has giant signs that say, this dot goes here, this dot goes here. And I just hope that people appreciate this man. He's 85 years old, and I hope this man lives forever. But he is a national treasure, and right now he has done America and the world a great service, and we don't deserve him, but we got him, so let's do something honorable by him.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, you said it, the precedent that this has set, just the situation when it comes, I mean, Germany, the cost, it still baffles me. I see the clip all the time. Joe Biden and Olaf Scholz, February 7th, 2022. It was so obvious that there was something going on here. How could you not know that Nord Stream was already being targeted by sanction? There was sanctions talk. Yeah. Stop, bring it down. Don't allow Nord Stream 2 to run. The Americans wagging their finger. Germany, you've got to wean off of Russian gas. Already back then, this is before Russia's special military operation. And then it happens, and Germany whistling past the graveyard, and look at who's benefited. The United States and Norway. Norway has benefited mightily from this too. They have their own pipeline that has that I think was launched
the day after.
The day after, and now is pumping its own LNG and
into Poland, and then Poland's reselling it to Germany at a profit.
Yeah.
Once again, the Germans just get it on all ends. I mean,
and then you see the IMF forecast for Germany, very gloomy, and who knows if that will even hold in terms of, they're going the opposite direction. Unlike when you see like China, for example, they up the growth. With Germany, unclear if they'll make it to even zero growth this year. So it's absolutely incredible. And you're right. The precedent is just, I don't know if you have any final comments on this, but the precedent is I think just so in your face in terms of the situation that Germany and Europe has found itself in and has gotten itself into, playing poodle, dog wag the tail with the United States.
No, I mean, I think you wrapped it. All I'd be doing is repeating what we've already talked about. I mean, this is literally, Germany is pathetic. Europe is pathetic. And it's tragic because we're supposed to be their friends. I mean, the biggest pathetic thing about here is America, because we have a government that you know, everything we touch dies. Think about it. Everything we touch dies.
Hmm.
We're poison. We're poison for the world.